I haven't talked about it much on the air, but my wife went through a battle, and I'll never forget the day. I was sitting at the computer, and she came in from work and walked in, and I didn't look up. She was behind me, and she said, "I've got cancer." And boy, is that a moment. And it must have been for you as well.
Yeah, our society doesn't say the word cancer much. We don't do well with cancer as a...
My grandmother died of it, and it was never talked about.
My grandmother died of it. I didn't even know she had it until later. I said, "What did my grandma die of?"
Yeah.
And my father passed away from it, my aunt.
So you're 44 years old.
Mm-hmm. I was 43 when I was diagnosed.
How'd you find it?
I actually found a lump.
Self-examination?
Actually in the shower. It just was unusually large one day. I don't know.
And usually when you find it that way...
Usually that's really
bad.
Advanced, but this was stage 2.
Right.
A lot of people, a couple of doctors said they thought maybe I was taking some super-duper vitamins, which I was because I was very run down, that made it pop up really big. So it was a rather large tumor, but it had only contaminated one lymph node. So it was still just stage 2.
And so what'd you do? What was the treatment?
Lumpectomy. Took out the tumor and removed 15 lymph nodes to see. You have to once you have one that's positive, you have to take out others to see if they were, and they were all negative.
It makes it a little tough to go for high fly balls now. When
you know what? I am fine with the high, but that's because after the surgery, I had my tour manager coming over every day and doing arm lifts. It's very important to do arm lifts after that, but. Then I did chemotherapy and then radiation, and now I'm on tamoxifen once a day.
One of the things I read, you had a great ultrasound technician.
Oh, yeah.
Here you are in the very nervous stages of all this. You don't know what lies ahead. And the people who treat this just have sometimes wonderful senses of what to do. Tell me about that ultrasound technician.
They are the ones that you first encounter this whole cancer world with. And she biopsied it. I looked at her and I said, and I'd been to her before and I knew her, and I said, you know, is this cancer? And she wasn't allowed, or she couldn't say, oh yes, this is cancer, because they have to test it first, but she knew. And she said, whatever this is, you will be fine. She said, I am a 5-year survivor. She had a full mastectomy, showed it to me. She said, this is the worst. This is it here. You will be fine. And it started me off.
But how terrific! Really just opened her blouse and said, "Here, here it is. This is it. This is the worst that can happen."
Yeah, and oh, there it is, and I love her, and she's fine and happy and healthy, and
a good sign. So, there was that moment at the Grammys when you came out to sing, rather dramatically. I just want to take a little clip of that for just a sec. Gutsy thing to do. Did you ever hesitate?
Now I'm starting to realize just how bald I was. I mean, really, because at the time that's what I looked like, and it was like, oh, I'm bald, okay, but that's what I was used to looking at every day.
That's a gutsy thing to do, though.
And now I look at it and I'm like, yeah, that's a gutsy thing to do.
And you hadn't told anybody you were going to do that?
No, I mean, I hadn't talked to many people, but my family and loved ones for many months, and it was Ken Ehrlich at the Grammys who called and said, we're honoring Janis Joplin. We want you to sing Piece of My Heart. I said, I want to do that. I'm bald. And he said, great. And then it was...
Nobody ever hesitated?
No, no, no.
What kind of reaction did you get?
Oh my gosh. Immediately in the stadium was just the warmest hug from the audience. Just 20,000 people, just really, and Grammy audiences are not known for their warmth. But since then, every day somebody comes up to me. You have no idea how much cancer has affected everyone in this country.
Sure.
And every day someone comes up to me and says something about that performance.
Well, that's terrific. That's terrific. And a performance that was important, I suspect, for you on many levels.
I felt very fortunate to be able to get back into my career, the professional side, in such a large way. It just kind of broke down any doors. It's like, don't worry, because people, when they hear you have breast cancer, they tend to write you off sometimes. Yeah, yeah. And I was like, no writing off here.
But that's great what that ultrasound technician did, just to do that. I remember my wife was treated by Susan, or consulted with Susan Love, who's one of the great breast cancer doctors, who said to her when she was going through this, she said, "Arlene, you don't have breast cancer anymore. It's in a laboratory jar somewhere at Sloan Kettering." And just that one little thing that she said meant so much. You know, it's just little things like that.
Well, it's very fortunate when you have stage 1 or stage 2, sometimes even stage 3, you can, by operating on it, take your cancer out and be cancer-free totally. And that's the way it was for me. Once I had I had 2 surgeries. Once I had it out and the margins were clear, I'm not battling breast cancer anymore. Now I'm just trying to stay alive as long as I can.